All right, we're here with the pre-show for the NGE Shadowverse Open playoffs, and we have a special guest joining us, Keita Mori. Thank you for coming down.
Hello.
Where do you come from?
I'm here for E3 show, and of course say hello to the North American community too. Hey.
So
good to see
Keita
you.
Mori is the Cygames Director of Global Esports, all the way from Japan, taking his special time to join us on the broadcast, talk a little bit of Shadowverse, talk a little bit about the decks that these players are going to be using in the playoffs, and seeing how well they'll do. So there's a few topics that we want to get through in this particular pre-show, and the first one is a big one. Something big that happened in Japan just recently is the Rage tournament.
Yeah, Rage Volume 4.
And there was a lot of strong competition there. Players submitted 3 decks, and they played out in a grueling finals. And there was a first, second, third, and fourth place finisher. What were some of the interesting things for you, Keita, that you saw at the Rage Volume 4 tournament event?
Maybe as you know, Dragoncraft and the Shadowcraft is two of the very popular decks everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Here in Japan, the third decks is coming as a Bloodcraft.
Bloodcraft is becoming kind of the more popular third deck pick after Dragon and Shadow.
And especially for the Vengeance style. That was very powerful for that weekend.
I think we'll be able to see some Vengeance Bloodcraft decks here today as well.
Oh yes, we absolutely will.
But what's interesting to me is now after the changes that went through that changed Lightning Blast, changed Wind Reader Zell, and changed Prince Catacomb, there have been some Dragoncraft decks that have been becoming a little bit different, right? They haven't been playing Ramp to Storm Dragon kind of things. There's some different styles that have been played.
That's a good point. And another style of Dragon decks is coming here in Japan, like a combo Dragon. It's like a discard combo decks. There was a third place guy, Matomo, who played that decks and then undefeated for...
Wow. So the deck won every single matchup that it played.
Deck was great. Unfortunately, he was third place though. Because of the best of 5 style.
Yes. So what's interesting to me is we've seen, so in the West, that's kind of the more familiar Dragon Newt. It's called OTK Dragon Newt sometimes. Combo Dragon is a popular name for it. In the West, I feel like a lot of players have been playing it, kind of trying it out, but they haven't been able to find that consistency. And it seems very impressive that Matomo was able to win all his matchups with that deck. So we'll see if the West can kind of experiment with that, and maybe we'll see it today, but it seems unlikely, which brings up another point. The meta in the West and the meta in Japan are very different. What are some of the things, for example, I know that Swordcraft is very popular in the West.
Here in the States?
Yes.
Unfortunately for the Grand Finals Rage, and that none of 8 players played any Forestcraft decks and any Swordcraft decks.
Wow.
Really, none of them, wow.
None of them.
Yeah, and really in the Shadowverse Open as well, Forestcraft has not been super popular. We've seen it here and there a little bit, but the big difference is Swordcraft is actually very popular.
We see it all the time.
Yes.
Oh, all the time. Wow.
Almost,
I'm happy.
Swordcraft is great. Yeah, mid-range Swordcraft is one of the more popular decks.
Well, why don't we take a look? We have some of the matchups here for you today, and there's some there's some interesting decks that are being brought in here. The first highlight player to look at is Kadeemer. This is Kadeemer's Swordcraft deck. It's a typical, it's closer to a typical mid-range Swordcraft deck. Cool things to know is it has Lyriel Archer, as well as Fangblade Slayer. But the big thing that pops out to me is Gabrielle. Keita, if you could talk to me, take a look at this deck, and what do you think about this? How do you think it'll play?
Splashing Gabrielle, one Gabrielle is very impressive.
It's a very niche card, and it gives the buff to your cards that you have on field.
Strong
and
backup for the offense,
And Wandering Bard as well is such an interesting pick for me, a 2/2 follower that's evolved into 3/3, but as it's on the field, followers and amulets, fanfare, necromancy enhance, and earthright abilities are not activated while it's on the field. And that goes for you as well, not just your opponent.
Do you think in Japan players will run cards like Wandering Bard and Gabrielle when they have the opportunity to, or is it very kind of niche, like not very popular?
Globally connected, the community is globally connected. Some of Japanese players are watching this show. Yeah, and maybe copying the decks from the winners too. So yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll see if that gets popular in Japan. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
The second thing that I want to look at here is there are two players that are matched up against each other in the first round, Exodium and Auto Aim. And what's interesting here, if we can take a look on screen, is both of them are running an Aegis Haven deck. So this will be actually Exodium's version
Aegis
of
mirror
Aegis
match?
Haven.
You
Yes, it could be an Aegis mirror match. So we're going to take a quick look here. Big things to notice is things like the Themis' Decree, and that's a very popular pickup. Destroying all followers on the table, but I think recently has been a little tough to use just because Shadowcraft has the last word effect, so even if you destroy, the skeletons will come out. Let's take a look at Auto Aim's Aegis deck, and it'll be a little bit different here. You notice that there's going to be the addition of Curate as well as things like Dark Jean, Themis' Decree, and actually this list I think doesn't have Ancient Lion Spirit, so what do you think is better in the mirror match? What do you think might be better against a mid-range Shadowcraft deck?
In Japan, the curate approach is very popular, but honestly speaking, if we are thinking of the Rage metagame, the format is became quicker. So they really want to have all the Japanese player wants to use a very quick decks, like a Storm approach version. Storm approach version of the Havencraft.
Yes, Storm Haven.
Yeah, and can we check the list again?
Oh, can we pull up the list one more time?
The cost curve could be a matter.
So kind of where that curve sits for each of the players.
Yeah, but in this time, this is a mirror match.
Yes, yes. So it seems like the curve is favored towards kind of the 2 play point, 3 play point area. Let's take a quick peek at Exodium's Havencraft deck here and see if there's a noticeable difference between the two. I believe we'll have to get that back up, but that's actually a very good point.
So anti-Necro card, so anti-Shadowcraft card doesn't matter for the mirror match.
Yes, yes. So it looks like the curve is a little more weighted. It seems like more 6 play point cards in this particular deck. So that might change the dynamic for the mirror match a little bit based on kind of where these draws land here. And of course, what's interesting is this deck only 1 test of strength.
Oh yeah, only one.
Only 1 test of strength.
There's 1 test of strength and 1 execution, which is a card that we don't see typically often. Typically, if you want to have removal like that for a 5 cost, it stands of death. But with Execution, it's really strong against Dragoncraft, who they've been bringing a lot of Polyphonic Roar, that amulet. So Execution allows you to destroy an amulet. But against a Shadow matchup, just for a 5 cost, getting rid of 1 follower, it's not that strong. So we'll see how it plays out maybe in a Haven-on-Haven matchup. But in this deck versus Shadow, that card's really going to be difficult to use.
I think that's a very good point. And I'm excited to see how that mirror match turns out. Of course, what's really sad, and Keita, I don't know if you're familiar with this particular tradition that we've started. We had a guest, Aya Senpai, come on the show, and he has this sign, Havencraft, cursed. This sign because Havencraft has never won a tournament.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the West. At least not in the NGE Shadowverse Open. Has not yet won, but maybe.
We should cheer up the Haven guys.
Yes. And when Havencraft will win, we're going to rip the page.
Oh, yeah.
No more curse. We're going to be clean from that. But maybe in the playoffs, we can destroy the curse. So.
Oh, it's interesting.
So, what do you think you're excited to see make it to the next stage of the playoffs? Do you want to see maybe Sword advance? Do you want to see Blood be really strong here, or maybe the Havencraft decks? What do you think is your favorite?
From average Japanese player point of view, the very good version of the Swordcraft deck is required here in Japan.
I see. Interesting. So, Keita Mori joining us on the desk. He will be back at the middle part of the show to bring us some fantastic announcements, as well as kind of talking through the latter half of the tournament and the decks that we will see there. Before I go, some little things. We've had Keita Mori pick a pin. Which pin did you pick?
Unico.
Unica! Okay, so I picked Bellringer Angel. That means we're worst enemies now. Make sure you talk in chat. Which one is your favorite, Bellringer or Unica? We'll have more Keita Mori after the midway point of the show. And with that, we only have a few more minutes until the NGE Shadowverse Open Playoffs Day 1 begins. We will see you guys soon when that is about to get started.